And now it's time for Windy City Sports Talk. And your host, Ryan Young.
Hello, Chicago! Welcome to this live Thursday, November the 10th edition of Windy City Sports Talk. I am Ryan Young. For the next half hour, I'm going to recap and preview everything going on in the world of Chicago sports. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at ringside_rep. I'm always on there. It goes through to my Facebook page. You can find me on there, Ryan Young. Appreciate anyone who wants to talk, anything like that. If you feel like chiming in, tweet me, comment on this link, whether you're watching or listening on Facebook, or if you're listening on the actual page or on the Spreaker page. Either way, I can get in and I'll easily read your message on the air, because usually I don't get an overabundance, so anything that I get is sure definitely appreciated. Busy night in Chicago sports. You had a double-decker last night. You had the Bulls and the Hawks in action, so I think that's something we'll start with here. And of course, we got some previewing tonight. The Bulls are going to be in Miami, and of course, Dwayne Wade's return to the place where he won 3 NBA championships, 2 with LeBron James, and 1 with Shaquille O'Neal, even though I believe that first one was probably overall a very good one. And the other 2, I mean, some people call it tainted, because you bring the big 3 together and they win their championships and yada yada. So, yeah. But anywho, let's talk now about what happened. What do we start with, the pretty or the ugly? I guess we'll start with the ugly first. The Bulls were in Atlanta to do battle with the NBA's version of the Hawks last night. A game that I thought would not go well. Early on, I think the Bulls were down by 8 at the end of the first. They were down big. They eventually, at one time, had a 5-point lead in this game, which eventually led to them not being able to do anything after that. And they lost this one of a final of 115-107. Now, I said that I thought the big guys were going to have the problem in this game, and I think that's what it was. I thought they were going to have a problem with Paul Millsap. I thought they were going to have a problem with Dwight Howard. Let's take a look here at the numbers. I'm trying to pull up the stats here quick. Dwight Howard had 18 points, and Paul Millsap had 16. The only other guy that did really good, and a big praises on Comcast Sportsnet by Stacey King of the former Bull. I believe he was drafted by the Bulls. Thabo Sefolosha, who's kind of been all over the place over the last couple of years and his whole career, really, and now being able to find a home with an Atlanta Hawks team that I think is going to be very, very good, a team that I think is going to really stand out and have a good chance in the Eastern Conference. Now, I believe with that win for the Hawks, they are now at 6-2. That'll drop the Bulls to 4-4. So they'll have a chance to get back to 500 tonight. I got the games playing on here now. Jeez Louise. Because I got the NBA package, so they do it on broadband. But anyway, Dwight Howard did a good job. So like I said, the 2 starters that had the most was going to be Millsap and Howard. That's exactly what they were. Let's see here. When you look at it here, this is a very good team. I mean, Kent Bazemore had 3 points only, had a field goal, 11 rebounds for Millsap, 10 for Dwight Howard. So they were able to do their thing. They were able to get the job done and win a basketball game. And you figured that was going to happen. I mean, this team coming off at a very big high. You thought maybe the Bulls could catch them after the Hawks just went into Cleveland and beat them. And then you have the Bulls who are coming off a nice win Monday night in Orlando. So, I mean, you had an opportunity to be able to do that and to maybe catch them off guard a little bit, but that wasn't the case. They were unable to do that. They didn't play very well. And, I mean, I don't expect this Bulls team, to go on any big runs. I mean, you saw them win 3 in a row, and then immediately they lost 3 in a row. And when you do that kind of stuff, that means you're not a good team, when you're consistently inconsistent. Now, of course, for the first time, a loss tonight would bring them under 500. Now, Dwayne Wade said that you guys better be ready to play tonight. But anyway, we'll get into that game a little bit later. Some of the numbers for the Bulls: Jimmy Butler played 39 minutes, and Taj Gibson played 36. 39 points from Jimmy Butler and 25 from Dwayne Wade. Now, that is big. The thing is I was talking to Papa Sean about this morning. I'm like, Bulls lost. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, Butler and Wade pretty much had all the points. And he said it just like everyone. It's the beginning of the season. They're still fresh. When you get a worn down Dwayne Wade, it's not gonna be pretty. So you gotta think that once he wears down, this team's not even gonna be getting that many points from him. And Jimmy Butler is a beast. Like, we've seen him, I believe, last year played in a game where he played every single minute. And I almost want to say that game went into overtime also. So that's how good he is. He's a stud. I don't think Dwayne Wade has a possibility of being able to do that anymore. I don't think he has the ability to play that well all the time. Now, let's see. He had 2 3-pointers last night, 2 out of 5. And he's already made more this year than he did all of last year. Jimmy Butler was 4 of 9 last night from beyond the 3-point arc. Rondo. And I mean, besides, okay, you have 39 from Butler and 25 from Dwayne Wade. He had 13 from Taj Gibson. Nikolai Mirotic was not good last night. He had 2 points in 11 minutes. Stacey King even said he needs to get his act going here. He's going to be one of them guys that need to shoot well. Doug McDermott had 19 minutes and 8 points and 4 for 6. So, I mean, McDermott's going to have to be a big key. They seem very high on Isaiah Cannon. So, I mean, this team is built to possibly win. I mean, they're not built to win a championship, but the only goal for this year is to be better than last year. And last year, the team didn't even make the playoffs. So I think this year that's where you got to really go with this team. You got to support and win winning basketball games. And you're not going on any of them long streaks anymore. I mean, they start out 3-0, you're like, okay, this is good. But then, like I said, you lose 3 in a row, brings you right back down, and then they've kind of gone every other since then. So let's see them get back here after that the nice win in against Orlando. Now let's see if they can go into Miami, which I'm expecting fans to cheer. I'm expecting fans to be able to cheer for Dwayne Wade. He brought 3 championships, and I keep saying I'm going to talk about this later, but he keeps bringing up, I'll wait till later. But it's just, this team just needs to play better basketball. Like we said, Butler and Wade is not going to put these numbers up for 82 games this year. I mean, he sits on the bench with ice on his knees. You cannot expect him to be this lights-out dominant guy non-stop all season. He's not that guy anymore, and you're not going to see it. So now what you're probably gotta see is a Dwayne Wade that's doing this early, but possibly a guy that's not going to be able to do it later on in the season. So time will tell of what's going to happen next with this basketball team. They have not been under 500 yet this season. Part of me, and I don't think they're going to end up being under 500 after this game, being at 4-4. I hate doing this. Look at the standings. It's like, remember how I was up the wazoo about them in September with baseball? The playoffs started today. Cavaliers are 6-1. Hornets are 6-1. Hawks are 6-2. Raptors 5-2. Bucks 4-3. 3 teams at 4-4. And it would be the Bulls, Pacers, Pistons. 8-7-6. It would be Bucks Bulls in round 1 of the playoffs if the playoffs started today. Obviously, folks, nowhere near the playoffs. Playoffs begin in April. Tone her down. I think we're looking at a team that I think can make it, and I think once they get into that groove, this team is going to get back. They're going to be okay. They're going to be in the playoffs. I think they could make a small run in the playoffs because Dwayne Wade has that experience. But a worn-out Dwayne Wade, he's not going to do what he's been doing at the beginning of this season all year long. I mean, stranger things have happened when you look at the news these days. But still. So the Bulls lose 115-107. They try to get back on the winning side tonight. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Now let's get to we talked about the ugly. Let's talk about the pretty of the Chicago sports teams. The Hawks last night at home or on the road at the Scottrade Center against the St. Louis Blues. I missed the whole first period. I just turned it on the beginning of the second period, and I saw the first goal of the game right away. Marian Hossa got his 7th of the season, makes it 1-0 Blackhawks. Then very late into the third period, Pietrangelo gets a nice goal, making it 1-1. Then we get into overtime, and right before overtime, Pietrangelo, who got the game-tying goal, got a delay of game penalty, so 2 minutes, and I want to say there was about 1:36 left in the regulation, so that would have carried over to overtime, and it did. And that led to the bread man, I think they call him. Panarin. I can't read my own handwriting, and I forgot his name. Sorry, Nick, if you're listening. Told you I wasn't good with names. But gets the goal, makes it 2-1 in overtime, and obviously, first goal wins. Hawks win. They've now won 7 in a row. They are playing very, very good hockey almost 2 months through the season. And that's a big win. You want to get them wins against the Blues because, I mean, that's kind of disheartening. You're ahead a 1-0 lead. You give it up with, 3 minutes left. The Hawks just got out of being on a power play right before that with 5 minutes left, and there was only about 3 minutes left in the game. They score it with 2 minutes. But you got your taste last night of playoff hockey. You usually don't get that in November. You don't get that feel. And last night was that feel. Last night was the first real game I was actually tuned into late because it had a playoff-type atmosphere. You got the St. Louis Blues fans, and to be able to get that 1-0 lead that quieted them early in the second, to the crowd going absolutely nuts when Pietrangelo got the goal, and then quiet again when Panarin got the goal. So I think that's very big for this Hawks team. They've won 7 in a row. In that 7, they've got 14 points. That's big. This team just continues to roll, and I think this team just got to continue to do this on a daily basis. Corey Crawford made a couple of beautiful saves last night, and I think if you count on him night in and night out, that's going to be big. And even Scott Darling did a very good job the other night on Sunday against the Dallas Stars. So this team is doing what they need to do to win hockey games. And even Nick said, and I don't know if he's listening, who knows, but hi, Nick. But he said it, that this team is playing like a Stanley Cup championship team. And I mean, we're just coming off of a World Series in Chicago, and you already turned your attention right to a team that is playing like they're eyeing their 4th Stanley Cup in 6 years, and that would be 7 years, the Chicago Blackhawks. So, possibilities are big. Again, very early on in the season, but a well-played game last night, and this team was electric, and they played well. And they just said, hopefully they'll continue to do that night in and night out. And again, it's always the big test in the way they've been playing. The big test is always the circus road trip. And that circus trip begins, like I said, I believe a week from, or next Tuesday it starts, and it goes through, I believe, Thanksgiving weekend. So they're gone for a while. And of course, like I continue to say, it's because of the circus. It's at the United Center, so the Bulls and Blackhawks go. Usually it's where they get most of their West Coast games in and not worry about it anymore. So, but a nice win for the Hawks. They will play twice over the weekend, and we'll get into that tomorrow. They're home for both them games. Their final 2 home games before Thanksgiving, and that's the Capitals and the Canadiens. So, great start, and I'm sure the place will be rocking at the United Center, at the Madhouse, before things get going. So the Hawks win. I said they were going 1-1, so my predictions have been pretty accurate as of late. As the Bulls lose 115-107, Blackhawks win 2-1 in overtime, 7-game winning streak, and they will have a busy weekend starting tomorrow against the Washington Capitals and Alexander Ovechkin, who, again, is a little bit older in his career, but still a guy you got to look out for. And, of course, we'll break that down tomorrow. I don't think tomorrow's show will be live. Friday's shows usually won't be live anymore. So I believe I'll be recording that tonight following the Bulls game, so hopefully it's an early out so I can record that at a decent time. So, and then with next week, both teams being on the West Coast, it'll be very, very difficult to not have live games, because I like to be up to date on the show. I don't like to sit here and say, oh, well, they did this and they did that, or maybe they did this, and that's not who I am. So we got some previewing to do. We're going to talk some Major League Baseball, some Bruce Levine breaking some news today that isn't great for baseball fans. Talk about that after this, but first, the Windy City Sports Minute. This is your Windy City Sports Minute for Thursday, November the 10th. Well, both Chicago teams were in action last night. First, the Blackhawks, as they brought a 6-game winning streak into the rivaled St. Louis Blues in the Scott Trade Center. Blackhawks had a 1-0 lead by Marian Hossa. Then Pierangelo ties it up in the third for a game-winning overtime goal by Panarin. And the Hawks win it 2-1 in overtime, now a 7-game winning streak. Bulls fall in Atlanta to the Hawks of the NBA, have a final of 115-107. But their minds might not have been on that one, especially Dwayne Wade. As Dwayne Wade tonight returns to Miami for the first time since signing with the Bulls in the offseason. That'll be a 7 p.m. start on TNT. That is your Windy City Sports Minute. Now back to Windy City Sports Talk. We're back here on Windy City Sports Talk. Hope everyone's having a great weekend, or a great start. Weekend's almost here. I'm kind of pushing the gun a little bit. Hope everyone's having a nice Thursday. Earlier today, President Obama and soon-to-be new President Donald Trump met for the first time. And for the first time, you heard Donald Trump sound like a guy that wasn't in competition. I think that's a big test. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of Facebook stuff, a lot of people being negative. And I mean, I'm not the happy, and I voted for him. I'm not the happiest person in the world, but give the man a chance. And he went to change Obamacare, and so let's see if his bark's as loud as his bite, and or his bite's as loud as and what I'm saying. And give him a chance here. It's only been 2 days, and then we'll judge. But the riots, there were people on top of buses last night in Chicago, so I'm sure they're going to have a lot of stuff to answer with that. So. But we'll let that go. Also going to the White House today, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the NBA champions. Of course, they won it on Father's Day. Remember, I was watching Game 7. I was in Nashville with T. And it was Father's Day. We were on a vacation. We were on a little trip. Beautiful city, by the way. If you have not been to Nashville, recommend it. We had the NBA Finals Game 7 on the TV. And then we had I had to watch the WWE pay-per-view Money in the Bank. Had to watch that on the laptop, and then Cubs Pirates on the phone. It was a busy night, but yeah, they went there, and you heard Obama saying funny stuff about how he's glad J.R. Smith's shirt made an appearance and stuff like that. So I think that's great. And of course, Obama said he can't wait to hopefully have the Cubs in before he leaves on January 20th. But like I said, I think it'd be interesting to see a picture with Donald Trump and the Cubs. To be perfectly honest. And I'm not sure if they would go twice. So we'll see. But that happened today at the White House. So President Barack Obama had a busy day. And then you had Kyle Schwarber was on Live with Kelly. And today Alex Rodriguez, who I think is getting ready for his second part of his career now. A lot of people saying he might be a Miami Marlin next year to kind of close it out. Because I think he wants to get to 600 home runs. So we'll see if he'll be able to do that. But he was a very good analyst during the playoffs. Covered it very, very well. And then you saw him, and then he did a good job there. I mean, I didn't get to see the whole thing. I saw the Kyle Schwarber interview. They went out and hit baseball or hacky sack, something out in the streets. So he did a good job there. Also, so we'll see what Alex Rodriguez ends up doing. Ben Zobrist was on the show I watch every night, Conan. And had Bill Burr on talking about politics. If you've never seen Bill Burr as a comedian, totally recommended. The guy's hilarious. So Ben Zobrist was on there yesterday. And I mean, it's great to see the Cubs make their rounds. Also, Kyle Schwarber was on High Heat today on MLB Network with Chris Russo. He was also on, or he made a brief cameo on MLB Hot Stove. So, I mean, it's great to see these guys make their rounds. I think that should be it. Every time I say that should be it, they come again. So, don't doubt it there. But it's nice to see them make their rounds. One thing, I was listening on during my run this morning. I listened to 670 The Score, Mully and Hanley, and Bruce Levine was on there. And Bruce Levine said that, of course, the GM meetings are going on right now in Scottsdale. Now, the winter meetings, which is usually, like last year, that's when the Cubs signed, that's when they signed Hayward and Zobrist last year. Now, this year, maybe it was Lackey, like someone in Zobrist. But anywho, Bruce Levine said if there isn't a CBA, a collective bargaining agreement with the owners, because don't forget, the commissioner of baseball, Rob Manfred, works for because some people say, well, can't the GM just, because the owners want to, there would be a lockout, which means no trades, no free agents, and no games. Now, the owner's locking out. And the reason I'm saying this is, can't Rob Manfred, the commissioner, do something? No. Because Rob Manfred works for the 30 owners of these teams. And if they don't come to an agreement, and December 2nd is right around the corner, then there's a possibility of a lockout. MLB has had a very good job. They have not had a lockout. I think they're the one that hasn't. Football, the NFL, they had one with the refs, but they never had one. The NBA's had one in recent history. Same with hockey. So it happens. And it would suck to see baseball do it, especially coming off the Cubs World Championship. You don't want anything to get in the way of their celebrating and defending their championship this season. So what everyone's saying is that they think it's going to get done. I hope so. You don't want to see, I want to see the Cubs be able to get their rings and all that, and none of that to be kind of taken away at all. So hopefully that'll stop, and hopefully we'll have more updates on that, and we'll see. But tough break if that does happen, and I guess if there is a time to happen, why not do it in the off season? But you don't want it to start carrying over to 2017, because pretty much a month into 2017, you're already getting pitchers and catchers reporting, and then you're getting ready for the season. And like how baseball players and most athletes are, they're routine. And they get taken out of their routine where there's a lockout and have to go in halfway through February, then it's going to be tough. So, and also you got the WBC happening this year in March. And I think that'll be exciting. That's when all the countries, kind of the Olympics version for baseball tournament, very fun to watch. And of course, I'm sure we'll cover some of that on here also, because anytime I get a chance to talk baseball. And then of course, Scott Beatty will be on with a hot stove report probably every other week, not this upcoming Monday, but we'll bring him on after, because next week's awards week. So we'll get a chance to see who wins all the awards, get his take. There was one roster move, or one signing today. The Atlanta Braves, who are getting ready to open up their new ballpark, signed the knuckleballer, R.A. Dickey. And there's not many knuckleballers left in Major League Baseball. So seeing him being able to do that, very big. So, and I'm not sure, no one knows if the SunTrust Park, which is their new stadium, they'll be opening up. They're on like a 9-game run. I looked it up because when I'm in Orlando, I think I'm in there the last day of spring training before they open up SunTrust Park the next night. I'm hoping to be able to get in Orlando in time to be able to get there and catch a game the day I get there. So I'm not sure, but they're going like a sort of like a 9-game road trip and open up like April 14th. So that'll be fun. It's always fun to see and open up a new ballpark. So yeah, so congratulations to R.A. Dickey. That's, I believe, a 1-year deal. And of course, I'm sure there'll be more as the weeks progress, and I think the next time after that Beatty comes on will be right around when the winter meetings are happening, and that's when all the signings are taking place in baseball. So yeah, I think Beatty's going to some wrestling. There's wrestling tonight and somewhere, but I really don't go to shows if I'm not scheduled to be there to commentate, because I mean when you get into a routine. When you get in a routine of being a commentator, you really don't like going to shows. But I mean, always go out and support them. Always great stuff in the indies. We got about 6 minutes left here on this Thursday edition. Probably the last live one of the week, as I'll probably tape Fridays. But no reason not to listen. It's still going to be the same me talking away. Hopefully after a Bulls victory. But speaking of that, Bulls tonight are in Miami, 7 p.m. on TNT. I'm sure Marv Albert will have the call. Oh, goody. And to be able to hear him, same stuff he... my dad always always talks about how he used to put cigarettes out in his wife's back. Him and I don't mind him. His son, Kenny Albert, does the NFL on Fox. Or the game might be Kevin Harlan. But anyway... Tonight they return to the American Airlines Arena in Miami. Again, I've told you this story, I'm going to tell it again. I've been to Miami for a Bulls Heat game. That was when LeBron and them, that was the year they won their first championship. And I was in my hostile crowd. And you know what else is very interesting? I don't know if you've been to arenas like the United Center and stuff like that, where the floors usually are like tiled. They're carpeted in the hallways. So I'm really wasting time here because I really don't know not a lot to say. But and then the cop told me we're in their house, and then the lady that scanned my ticket said, "You're going down." I'm like, well, what did I get myself into? And of course the Bulls lost. But anyway, tonight I think this is going to be big for Dwayne Wade. I'm sure they're going to show the introduction of him. I saw a report on NBA.com that he has not talked to Pat Riley, because I think this is what this thing is going to be here. I don't think the fans are going to boo him because he is not. It wasn't his fault that he left. Pat Riley did not offer him enough money. And again, money makes the world go around. Money makes these athletes tick. You think they're going to... I mean, everyone's used... When you're used to a certain lifestyle, and that's not only Dwayne Wade, but his wife, his kids, and you're going to get deducted money. And they just built a house in Miami, too. So, I mean, it takes away from that. And you want to be... And then, of course, Chicago said he made him feel more welcome. So I think the fans tonight will not boo him. I think they will cheer him, and he deserves it. I mean, he helped that city. Yeah, I think he put basketball on the map in Miami. I know you can say Alonzo Mourning did and all that. Dwayne Wade brought it to Miami. As much as I could not stand him with the Heat when it was him and LeBron and Bosh. And I'm not just saying this because of a Bull, but he brought that first championship there without LeBron. Him and Shaq did a very good job. I believe Alonzo Mourning was on that team also. So he did it. And I think, and them fans, if they know anything about sports, and getting a chance to be around Miami fans, they're very obnoxious and stupid. But if they know anything about sports, they are going to be down there supporting, and they give that man about a 10-minute standing ovation, because if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have any rings. Because who the heck do you think brought LeBron and Chris Bosh to Miami? So remember that tonight. They got to cheer him, and I think it's going to... I mean, look what he did last night. I think he's going to go out there, and he probably will overdo it. But hopefully that'll give them a chance to score and win. And I think tonight, they should do good. And I mean, Jimmy Butler's the guy there. That's Jimmy Butler's team for the Bulls. So I think what you got to really think about is that it is. But I think tonight, for one night, I think Jimmy Butler is going to say, you know what, this is your city. You do it. You're going to take over. And I think tonight, expect a big night from him. The fans obviously will not be cheering for him once that ball is tipped off. But I think it's going to be fun. It's exciting. It's all in 1 week. You see Derrick Rose return to Chicago, and you get the chance to see Dwayne Wade return to Miami. I think this is going to be fun. I think the Bulls have a real good chance of winning. This is a very young team. I can't think of the center's name, but they have a very young core in Miami. They're not a team that I don't think is going to be built for a run. The Bulls have guys that can do that with Rondo and Butler and Wade, and being Wade's return, I think he's going to go off on these guys. So my prediction for this game tonight is the Bulls win. So far, I've been on a little bit of a roll. Let's keep that going. But if the defense lets them down and the offense isn't scoring, then it could definitely be a Miami Heat kind of game. And I don't think Dwayne Wade wants to go in there with a possibility of losing. He wants to go in there knowing that he's going to go out there and win this game for his team. So that is tonight. That is at 7 p.m. I believe they'll dilly-dally around because you got to put the guys in the studio, and then they'll finally bring that game probably about 7:15. So check it out. That should be a fun night of basketball. Always is. And a chance to see Dwayne Wade return to the American Airlines Center, the AAA in Miami. Should be fun. A preview for tomorrow, like I said, probably will not be live. I'll tape it tonight. If there's anything you want me to say or do, feel free to message me, and we'll talk about it. We're going to recap Bulls Heat. We're going to preview Blackhawk weekend, Bulls weekend, and Bears Buccaneers Sunday on Fox. Can the Bears get right back in there? Mike North was even saying today, we'll talk about it on tomorrow's show, that he thinks this team has a possibility of winning a wild card. So we'll talk about all that, and does this team have a chance? Is this a must-win game? And like I said, what the weekend holds for the Blackhawks and the Bulls, and what happened tonight in Miami. We'll find out. Everyone, have a great day. Love you all. Have a great day, Chicago.